First Corinthians 9:25-27. We're on the subject of discipline. Now, every athlete who goes into training and competes in the games is disciplined and exercises self-control in all things. They do it to win a crown that withers, but we do it to receive an imperishable crown that cannot wither. Therefore, I do not run without a definite goal. I do not flail around like one beating the air, just shadow boxing. But like a boxer, I strictly discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached the gospel to others, I myself will not somehow be disqualified as unfit for service. And this speaks to what we're going to be talking about next week, a part of this, in terms of Paul here. Not only is he saying that he's disciplined, he's actually saying, I'm disciplined when no one's looking. Because he comes in at the end and says, so that after I have preached the gospel to others, I myself. So he's saying, I'm not just doing this for show. No, I'm doing something that you can't see. I'm doing something when you're not around. And we'll get to that next week when we talk about seeking the hidden life. But moving on, Paul alludes to sports familiar to the Corinthians he is addressing. A key point he makes about athletes is that they are disciplined in all things. The believer must be holistically disciplined. Every area of our lives is connected. Jesus was perfectly efficient and balanced in all things. He never wasted a minute. Every second of his life was purposeful. No idle words left his mouth. This does not mean Jesus was dour and humorless. I like the idea of Jesus being the most efficient person ever. It makes me remember like those Bond movies where you see like or them action movies where the star is running as fast as he can. He's sweating and he's bleeding and he's sweating and he's running around corners, and then the bad guy just seems to be walking and is still catching up to him. The bad guy's not wasting no movement. This hero is running up and down, jumping up in it, and the bad guy's just walking behind him straight. It's just so efficient, not wasting any movement. That's how Jesus was. There was nothing wasted about Jesus's life. When he met the woman at the well, he must needs go through that place. Why? Because there was something to do there. And though he was resting at the well, he had that was a plan, because he wasn't going to waste that time when he was going to the well. It was because he was going to evangelize to that woman. So if you look at all the journeys Jesus has took and all the places he went, think about the perfect human being. Not a word, not any single breath, not one moment. Everything was perfectly calculated and with purpose. There was no purposeless second of Jesus's life. So to be like Christ is our aim. The greatest apostle, bishop, prophet, and teacher would no doubt tell you, desire to be as disciplined as Christ, and you will grow as you should. Do not desire to be like them, as you may miss your mark. Paul tells us to follow him only as far as he is following Christ. I'm not saying that you shouldn't desire to be, like your pastor or your bishop, but I'm saying Christ is your mark. You don't know what God has called you to do in detail. And if you're trying to be like someone too much, you might miss your mark. So it's just safer to be like Jesus. It's just safer to make him his standard your goal, because you might miss what you should be if you're trying to be like that person you admire. A century back, believers entering church membership were given two books, a Bible and a book on church discipline. But what a brave pastor these days dares give his new members the latter book? Do you wonder? A contemporary writer says, we Protestants are the most undisciplined people in the world. When we sing in sunlit church, "Oh to be like thee, oh to be like thee," we get a weepy and feel an emotional lift. But permit this simple challenge. Do we really mean, "Oh to be like thee," the Christ of God who was a man of discipline? Do we really mean, "Oh to be like thee," fasting alone in the desert? Do we mean, "Oh to be like thee," so that without our wilting under it, the world can say of us as him, "He hath a devil"? Are you willing to take that reproach? Oh, to be like him, really? When your family turn on you? When your friends turn on you? When they fire you from your job? Do you mean, oh, to be like thee, to touch the depths of prayer that makes us cry? All thy billows are gone over me. Do we mean, oh, to be like thee, to become familiar with strongholds of the prayer chamber? Do we mean, oh, to be like thee, in will like his? For he said, I always do the will of my Father. Is that not discipline? But what illustrations? Today, immediately one gets out of step with a nearby Christian, he is considered a legalist or smeared over spiritual. I should write that word in capitals. Think of it that way. In that great day, no man will be ashamed he was dubbed over spiritual, though many will weep, groan, and suffer loss because of lack of discipline. Discipline, then, is a harness by which we enable the spirit to get the best out of our frail humanity. What a word. The Apostle Paul was a disciplinarian like his master. He disciplined his body. I keep my body under. He disciplined himself to loneliness. All men forsook me. He disciplined himself to scorn. We are fools for God's sake. He disciplined himself to poverty. We suffered need. He disciplined himself to rejection. We are despised. He disciplined himself to death. I die daily. He disciplined himself to suffering. Persecuted but not forsaken. He disciplined himself to suffering. Persecuted but not forsaken. May this be our prayer, O Lord. I bow my neck to thy yoke. Jesus said, take thy yoke upon me and learn of me. To be yoked up with Christ is to fellowship in his discipline. Oh, what it would have been to see Christ in physical form, to watch when he used to pray, you know, what time of morning he would wake up, to see when he would go and retreat, to see how much time he would spend in the presence of others, to see what time he would even, you know, wash. What, you know, how did he set up his day? And this is the benefit of the apostles, and this is why they will never be again foundational apostles. Hear what I said? I didn't say there's never be apostles again. I said there will never be again foundational apostles, because those men walked with God in physical form. They actually got to observe with their eyes how he walked. They got to see his schedule. That is an amazing thing. But if we want to flourish and grow, we have to be disciplined. And our goal and our aim has to be him.